if you guys have nothing to do, man, if you got something to do, cancel it. Come fucking see us play. If you like it, badass. If not, even cooler. You know what I mean?
Well, howdy, motherfucker. Put it right here.
I think
he used to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I would hang out with him like every day. And then I would literally go into his room and have to like wake him up.
Like shaking him in the bed.
Just get up, bro.
It's like, bro, we got band stuff to do.
Yeah, but here's your clothes, bro. Put something on. That's right.
That's right. I think it might be easier if we just wait for him versus he jumps halfway through. Or fuck it, we could just get started and then we'll be like, oh, look who's finally here. I think he deserves that after.
Yeah, you can roast his ass, bro. He deserves it. He deserves it. 6 more weeks of winter. Jayson Braffett.
I love that. Okay, without further ado, I think we're ready to get started. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. This is another episode of the Scoped Exposure podcast. We are joined today by one member, maybe two in a little bit, of Frost Coffin. I got Grayson here, who's the vocalist. Thank you for joining me on the show, my guy.
Thank you for having me. Let's get into it, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of preamble leading up to this because we originally this was going to be a Grayson and Jayson duo podcast. I think Jayson is just awaking from a slumber, so he might join in the next few minutes. He might not. Who's to say? We'll have to see. You know, anything can happen here on the Scoped Exposure podcast show. So,
that's right.
So I got reached out to do a podcast to kind of showcase some of the stuff that Frost Coffin is doing. Frost Coffin for me was always a band that like really, the first time seeing you guys was at Snow and Flurry Fest, and I've kind of been a huge fan of you guys musically and just the vibe that you guys have ever since. So to hear that there's a full LP coming down the mix after like seeing all these like little singles throughout the year of 2020 and those kind of things is really exciting. So I'm stoked to finally sit. It feels like one of those things that we've been chatting for almost the better year and change as far as like different things that you guys are doing. So I'm glad to have an official sit down to chat with you.
It's definitely long overdue. I feel like we probably would have done this a long time ago if the world was up and running the way it should be. I guarantee we would have gotten to this at some point. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah. This is the current timeline, but yeah, I'm really excited to hear that there's a full set of new music, because I always felt like anytime a Frost Coffin single would come out, I'm like, man, this is sick, but I instantly would want the next thing. So to hear there's a lot of music all coming at once is super exciting. But before we chat about anything music, Grayson, as you know, we got to check some bevs here on the show. So it's tradition here for the guests to go first. So tell me what you're going to be sipping on the show today.
Okay, right now I'm sipping on a Coors Banquet, a Dr. Pepper, the arm's reach, and some water, even closer.
Very sick.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah. So you got 2, 3. What's the bev count at?
I got 3 bevies right now. You're
coming in collect. I got I'm just doing for myself. I just have been drinking this grapefruit LaCroix for the better part of a day, but I have a very special bev that I'm really excited to showcase. This has been sitting in my fridge for a long, long time. So I'll show you the can first, and then I'll tell you the story behind the can. So this is the Remember When Pilsner featuring me. That's me.
Oh my God, bro.
So
that's so sick.
So the story behind this can, in Winnipeg, where I'm from, there's a brewery called Fort Garry Brewing Company. A friend of mine partnered with Comeback Kid to do a collab beer, essentially to promote and raise some money for all the venues in the city that were affected with COVID and not being able to play shows. So there's kind of like this infamous Comeback Kid from one of their last local shows where I was filming said show, and then my camera battery, no, it was my card. It ran up, and it was during Wake the Dead, like their most famous song ever. So I kind of was like, I had a moment of just being bummed that I couldn't capture, the last couple minutes of, the most hype comeback kid song. And then I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to go and stage dive. So I just became an absolute maniac and started diving around, and said getting this badass pic of me literally, there's Goose or Andrew. And so anytime that they posted, it was always like, oh, this funny thing, like people sending it to me. I'm like, yep, I know that's me. And then
that's me, y'all.
They had the audacity to put it on a beer. So here we are. And this is the first time I've had one of these, but it's the first time checking it here on the show. So very, very excited. Want to save it for something special,
Yeah.
So, cheers to you, my guy. Stoked to chat
to you, my friend,
about some Texas riffs and Frost Coffin. So, Grayson, the original question that I ask any new guest that comes here on the show is kind of your like heavy music origin story. So I always ask like how people get into the flow of listening to breakdowns, guitar music, however you want to spin it. So take me like way back in time when, Grayson was only yay high, and tell me about how you got kind of put onto the path of where you're at kind of now.
Okay. Let's see, way back. So my dad's 67 years old, so I wasn't raised on heavy metal music at all. That was all younger than his generation. He does not really care for it at all.
Okay.
It's too aggressive. The people, like in the crowds are always like giving him the agita. You know what I mean? Like it's just a little too much for him. He likes good rock and roll music. You know what I mean? Not just like classic radio crap, but like pretty much anything important to me that my dad has put me onto, has stuck with me all the way until today. So that's cool that I was, like I had to find heavy metal completely by myself. And that came even later in life, right now I'm 26 years old. So as you can guess, like emo music just like ran my life. You know what I mean? Like MTV was my babysitter for the longest time. You know what I mean? Just like
totally
the early thousands, mid thousands, like that shit. That as well sticks with me today. But it wasn't until after that, like, like I would hear the current stuff that was going on, and then they would sprinkle in like, they'd fucking sprinkle in Pantera every now and then, and just all this stuff after hours, because that's not what people were paying attention to at that time. And I was just like, I need to figure out more of this.
Right.
And, like everybody knows like Ozzy Osbourne, fucking Metallica and all that shit like that. Like once you find it though, see you later, bro. Like once you find guitar music, heavy metal music, like anything from there, after you find it, see you later. Like it holds on to you pretty much for the rest of your life. And if it doesn't, then you probably didn't fuck with it in the first place.
Right. Totally.
So,
this is the point of the show where we start to have to pivot and do different things. So we have Jayson finally entering in on the call. So I'm going to allow him to get his shit.
Figured it out.
Allow him to get his shit set up. But to that point, I think it is interesting on how like, so was your dad 60? Is he 67 now, or by the time?
Yeah, he's 67 now.
Okay.
So like all of these, like all of my favorite bands, like coincidentally, before. So I'm from west of Fort Worth. I was born in Fort Worth. So before all the sub-cities were one big thing, that's Dallas and DFW is all one thing. They used to have a lot of bigger shows in Fort Worth, other than like Billy Bob's. Now they've got the Dickies Arena. It's huge. They're bringing it back, which is cool. But like my dad saw Led Zeppelin at the Fort Worth Dome in like 72. You know what I mean? Like in Fort Worth of all places, and like the OG Leonard Skinner and like Robin Trower and like all of like Rory Gallagher, like all of my favorite like musicians now. Like ironically just saw them. Like no big like we go to shows every day. It was just like that. Oh yeah, I paid $20 and I saw Led Zeppelin on a fucking Friday night. Like what?
That's wild. It's wild stuff. Jayson, welcome to the show, man.
I love that shit, man.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good afternoon, bro.
I'm sorry.
Again, good morning.
Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, we had to clown on you a little bit when it came to just like, I think Jayson may join the show, might not, but yeah, welcome officially here.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
Yeah, of course. What are you drinking for bevs right now?
I got water.
I got water.
Yeah.
I told you. I got water. I knew it.
Yeah. What do you got?
I got
What y'all got?
I got a little Pilsner with my face on it. You see that? That's me.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. You'll have to go back and listen to the episode because I won't tell the story twice.
Okay.
You missed that, bro. You missed that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask what's in the can. You said you had water, but I'm like, what's in that can?
I don't know. I heard to grab, but I don't know if you can see that. Parker County Peach.
That sounds
County
bomb
Peach.
as fuck. That's sick.
Yeah, it's good.
That's the motherland, Parker County.
Yeah. So, okay, so we got Grayson's kind of hardcore origin story, and now we have Jayson. I was kind of, when we were setting this up, I was like, oh, is that just a nightmare at band practice to have your guys' first names like so close, like with Gray and Jay?
Bro, we had a Grayson, Mason, and a Jayson.
Yeah.
Grayson, Mason, Jayson.
Yeah.
Is that just like a requirement to play in Frost Coffin? Your name has to rhyme with sun?
Only two Asons. Only two Asons. That we had to get rid of him.
I guess so. I got
totally
you.
kidding. Totally kidding.
Yeah. So Jayson, tell me about like how getting into hardcore, just metal music, heavy music, however you want to spin that. How that path was for you.
I'd say my dad would always put on Black Sabbath in the car. I don't know, I grew up on Van Halen and stuff. Went to shows with my brother. Got to see Van Halen when I was little. And then when I don't know, someday in school, I just met some kids that like heavier music, I guess.
Got you.
And then I got into like Bring Me to the Horizon, like really early on. I don't know, from there I just started playing bands, like local bands, and then getting into more music. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a very like organic pathway to getting into that.
Yeah. It's natural.
Yeah.
Very natural.
Very much so. Cool. So tell me about like the start of Frost Coffin, because the band itself is like pretty new. Like it doesn't have like multiple years. Well, like it has multiple years, but like add COVID time to that. So like tell me about the origin of the idea of the band and how things kind of first got started.
Is this me?
Well,
this is me.
Anyone who wants to jump in.
It doesn't matter.
So I originally had an album for 2x4 recorded. Recorded. The instruments were all done.
Sorry, I'm gonna just stop you.
Yeah,
they're having Sorry about that, guys. I have a 3-year-old border collie and a 4-month-old border collie puppy, and they're just like
they're going at it.
Yeah. Well, she's in a kennel, but I think like
let me pet him.
She's in the kennel, and then he's on the couch, and they're like barking at each other through the cage. So I was just like, all right, you guys are going to be in separate rooms for this. So anyways, I cut you off. So you were mentioning you were playing in 2x4, and you had a couple things in the works there.
Had a new album written like instrumentally. I don't know, it wasn't working out with the previous vocalists we had. So we didn't really know what to do. I asked Grayson to come over. Like I've known him since we were in high school. Lay down some vocals, like let's try something different. And then he kind of did this, like I guess it was his first time like really singing. more, and we tried that, and I was like, this is cool. Like we both liked it, but our agreement was we got to change the band name, so we went with Frost Coffin.
Got you. So
Yeah.
So, Grayson, for you, was that have you always been like singing in bands, or was that like, I'm just going to give this a shot and try it out? Or like, how did you kind of find that footing of like, have you always done vocals in bands? I'm just kind of curious of your kind of trajectory into that.
When, okay, so like I always like sang like as like a kid.
Sure.
Like I've always been like singing like everything, whether it's like screaming or you know what I mean, like really anything. So when Jayson was playing, when he first got into playing with that band 2x4 originally, me and him had another band. I guess I was probably 16, so he was probably 17, almost 18. We had a band called Bad Omen, and it was like a thrash metal band. It's like a Frost Coffin, but like no singing.
Oh, okay. Got you.
I mean,
And like we were 17 years old. You know what I mean? Like just him ripping like Van Halen style solos over like thrash metal music, and you know what I mean. Like it was badass as fuck. I wanted to do that. He didn't have time to do that because he was touring with 2x4 and stuff like that. Eventually, I ended up selling merch for 2x4 because you know if I wasn't playing, I might as well.
Oh,
timed up.
So eventually, he was like, "Do you want to do it?" I was like, "No, I don't." I was like, I want to sing in a band really bad, but I was like, I'm not gonna be your eighth vocalist. You know what I mean? You got me fucking. Let's just do something else. We'll just start over. I didn't realize how hard it was gonna be at the time to just start over. You know what I mean? Like so we did that. We came up with the name. I had like a list of like 5 song/band names that I wanted to use for something. And then we decided on this one, and then I went in and I threw down vocals on those songs that he originally had written for the other band. So that's our first EP, and we've only, I guess we're about to put out that full length, and it's really the first thing that we've been able to do like cohesively as this band completely. Like we all had something to do with these songs, you know what I mean? Like, and that I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting because I remember watching, like I think there's like a couple live music videos of 2x4, and like me in high school, I'm like, this is so heavy. Band's called 2x4.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was honestly one of maybe the first bands that the name of the band was Numbers, and that was just like so mind-boggling for me.
Yeah.
Just like first getting into music, and now everyone's got like, you got your 100 Demons, you got your fucking trying to think of another band that has that. But like, every hardcore band now has like a song that's just named, 2 with the number 2 or something like that. So, but at the time I was like, how can you're in the alphabet, but then you're going above the alphabet because your band starts with 2. But yeah, it's interesting to hear how Frost Coffin was kind of born out of the ashes of that, with like, hey, we have these songs, but now that we're having more like clean vocals and like choruses and like all of those things, it's kind of making a life of its own. Jayson, being the person that like wrote all that material, was that just kind of like surreal? Like, I find as a guitar player, you're like, when you write stuff, you kind of have an idea of like what the vocals could sound. So was your mind just kind of blown out of proportion when Grayson was kind of coming in and doing his style that way?
Yeah, like I really wanted to like go a different direction musically. So I did hear like more structure kind of happening, but honestly I wasn't expecting it to sound like that, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know what I really wanted, but I just wanted something different, and he did something good for it. Yeah,
I
liked it a lot.
So I was mentioning at the top of the show, like the first time that I actually got to saw you guys was at Snow and Flurry Fest 2019. Kind of one of the festivals that happened before the world kind of shut down for a bit. And I was, full transparency, I was like, people were like, "Oh yeah, this Frost Coffin band, they're coming up with I Am." They're like, you need to watch them. They're like, there's something different that you have to kind of take heed to. So I was like, okay. And I'm a firm believer, as someone who films shows, I don't like to like research and listen to every song leading up to it, because I want to have that like raw kind of reaction and have bands honestly like surprise me. And for you guys, I was like, okay, I'm not really sure where I land on some of these things. I like it, but I just like, I need to like go back and listen to the material. And then when I got home, I was like, I think Frost Coffin is one of my favorite bands right now. Just like the production value that you guys have, but also like the catchiness of the vocals. It almost made me feel bad that I didn't have that like knowledge going into some of your songs. So I thought it was kind of interesting on how, and Grayson and I were talking a bit about this before you jumped on, Jayson, but just like how your band, because you guys are playing in a very unique lane, has a different uphill maybe struggle when it comes to playing to different people that might not be used to that. So I'm kind of curious on how you guys manage that, how you go into different tours and shows with that in mind, and how you navigate and winning people over to, getting with the Frost Coffin vibe.
Hey, you hit some of it. You got it. Hit it.
Whoever
you're talking about, like, what are you talking? You're talking about like, okay, so it depends on what we're doing. Like we do those tours with I Am, and those kids like to throw people out fucking windows and do push-ups and beat ass for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like we all do. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That's the norm. You know what I mean? So like if we do a run with them, we kind of, it's not like catering, because we could fucking play a rock block to a beat down crowd. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It depends on it. If we want to sell some merch or get to the next spot. You know what I mean? So like, we kind of have to, like, especially now the way we've been performing, it's just like we have to just convince everybody as well as we possibly can to within the span of like 36 minutes, like us.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back, you know what I mean? Like, and then come back again. Like, it's one thing being at a place because you're watching a band and then like we're opening for them. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. Like, you're stuck there. But I want those people to come back. And
totally.
especially depending on what market we're in. If we play something metal, you gotta put your fucking horns up. You know what I mean? Like that shit.
Right. But you wouldn't say that at like a hardcore festival. People would be like,
fuck no. They'd be like, go home, dude. Go home, you fucking old ass man.
Yeah. But it is interesting because like, I was like perusing on your guys' Instagram, and you guys have played some like serious shows. Like you did that like a couple shows with like As I Lay Dying, and I was like, oh my God, like that's up there as far as like playing gigs and whatnot. But I do think that it is that that struggle of like, not that struggle, but knowing how to play to different crowds of people. Like I'm having flashbacks to when I had Brian of Knock Loose on the show, and they'll play to like the Gojira like size crowds who are like, put your horns up. But like, they'll play like a hardcore show where like, again, maybe that's not the thing to say there.
Be someone's ass.
Yeah, but they'll also go on tour with like a band like A Day to Remember, where they can get everyone to clap their hands. So I think that is really important for a band like you guys that can kind of play in different spaces to know, okay, these are the people that we're playing to, and yeah, exactly how you said, it is our goal to get people to like pay attention to us and give a fuck about us in this 30-minute block. And especially like at a festival, because like when there's so many bands that are playing, like I heard this from a friend just coming off a prom course, so I'm thinking about it a little bit more. When you're playing a festival, people are going to stand and watch you for the first 5 minutes and then decide whether they're going to keep watching you for the rest of your set or take a piss break, get some food or whatever.
Yeah, go outside, smoke, go get a drink. You know what I mean? Like, go take a phone call. Like, people walk out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel like watching the band, you know, like I'm the same way. If I don't feel like watching something, I'm not going to stand there. You know what I mean? Like, it's something totally like admirable. You know what I mean? So it's just like we have this many minutes in front of you to make sure that you want to be here as much as we do. Try to convince you within these 30 minutes that you'll come back. You'll see us again. Because odds are, especially like you're saying on festivals and stuff like that, odds are no one that, like, most of the people there aren't there to see you. They're there to see probably like 40 plus other bands. You know what I mean? So it's just like, if someone even gives you that chance, walks up for a minute just to check you out, you know what I mean? Like, just walks up for a minute, you have to try to just boom.
Yeah. You have boom. To like
what's up?
Invade their space and be like, I'm going to give you a reason to give a fuck about, you know, our spot. And then hopefully it's enough of an impact for when you go home to boot up your Spotify, download our shit.
Right.
And yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Going back to the Snow and Flurry Fest, I haven't been able to know this for certain, so I'm glad that I have both of you guys to talk about it. Did you guys have a guitar tech for that show? Because there was a moment where you guys were doing the guitar switch, and I was like, I know this band is like, I guess at the time you wouldn't have, you know, a slightly different timeline with Marauder and Leeway actually playing that show. You guys wouldn't be co-headlining, but because they dropped, you and I Am were kind of like the last two of the day. But I was like, does this band have a guitar tech that's switching their shit?
No. We met this dude on his name is Justin Brown.
Okay.
On As Lay Dying. He was really cool. He wanted to come with us, help us switch guitars. Let's go.
What a stand-up dude.
Yeah, no, it was fun. He helped out a lot.
Jayson, how many guitars do you have?
Change out the strings, fucking
dude.
Because I saw a photo on your Instagram, and it was just you sitting on a couch with like 7 to 9 different axes.
Yeah, I have more than that now.
It's up there.
Bro, go grab 2 of them.
Just go grab 2 of them.
Go grab 2 of them.
Okay.
I know what's within arm's reach. Do
you have a favorite of his, Grayson?
Oh, dude, yeah. There's probably like 3 or 4 of my favorites. I really like the old school looking guitars as far as like what you can do on a guitar that doesn't look like the way it should sound. He fucking rips a Fender like in half. You know what I mean? And it doesn't look like he should. But the thing is, like, he's got some Jacksons that are badass as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, look at this one.
Oh, whoa! What is going on?
I got
that's wild.
Yeah,
you were not playing that at that fest.
I think
that might have been there.
Yeah, Ben was playing this one.
Yeah, that one was for sure. The reverse headstock for both is much appreciated.
Yeah. Love it.
That's like your signature thing. Everything is reverse headstock.
I would like it to be. Yeah.
I would like it to be. One day. Yeah. So, you know, just like the EP that you guys originally had that kind of came out with the gate, I felt like, you know, it definitely had the heaviness that I could compare with some other stuff, but it had the catchiness of like some of the choruses and how certain parts came back around. Like, so has that been like not the mantra, but the goal with a lot of like the Frost Coffin, like the singles that you guys did out with Misery Road and Neurosick and any of the newer stuff that's coming out? Like, how do you balance that? Like, can this song be super like dummy heavy, but also like an actual like memorable thing that people are coming back to time and time again?
We just write those that way. Some of them happen more naturally. Sometimes you can have the idea to go back to something. Maybe like you'd call it a chorus, you go back to it one more time. You don't have to sometimes, I like to call them just trucking songs. Like it just starts from the beginning, fucking trucks all the way to the end, like repeats if it has to, but it's not absolutely necessary. And I like to do a little bit mixture of both. Like we don't have to, some of them definitely are more suitable for like metal like crowds. Some of them are like fucking rock blocks,
Yeah.
So that's what we do to like cater to different shows. Like we'll have some that we can just throw in here and there, some that would fit better, some that probably we should not definitely at all. It really depends on what we're doing, but the way that we write them really depends on lyrics being strong enough to be heard 3-4 times in a song. You know what I mean? Like lyrics suck. I'm not gonna listen to someone fucking say it 4 times. I'm just gonna put on a different song. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think like I don't know if you would consider like Neuropsych as one of those like rock block kind of songs, but that was like
rock block.
Yeah. But I remember when you guys were teasing that, I was like, oh, okay, it's got this thing, and then the minute that song started, I was like, we're just like having the bass groove and it's like super slow. But I thought it was really, really cool that you guys could have something that is that different versus like your traditional, like here's the thrashy fight riff into like the double kick part. So I thought that was very cool to kind of showcase the different styles that you guys can showcase in your music.
We want the variety just as much as everybody else does. You know what I mean? Like don't give me 30 minutes of some stale shit. Like if there's a kid that really loves hardcore music or like metal music and then goes to the show with his dad that may not, you know what I mean? Like we want everybody to enjoy their time, not just for them to listen to it, but for us to play it. If it's the same old for us, it's gonna fucking suck either way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like let's keep it switched up while we can.
So since we're on the topic of all the singles, are all of those singles going to be on the full record, or were those kind of like touch points kind of leading up to this this next release?
They are going to be on the record.
Cool.
It kind of, the process just got messed up like over, with COVID happening, because we were like about to drop it right before that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like we kind of needed to like tease some more like afterwards. You know what I mean? Like to bring it back. But yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely saw that with a lot of different bands. Like they would do like a single and a video, and then wait a couple months, and then kind of like remind people like, hey, because it's like very daunting just to like drop, especially the debut LP for a band in the middle of like an unknown time of like, okay, so when are we going to be able to play shows again? Like a lot of bands are just starting to play their like record release shows of records that they put out a year ago.
Yeah. It was kind of scary because we saw people releasing albums. Like, is it gonna do well? Thinking about it now, everyone's just sitting around like, yeah, it probably would have done well.
Sure.
But I don't know. At the time, it felt like a gamble for us.
Yeah.
To drop it.
Yeah.
We also recorded this shit in 2019, so like it's a long time coming. Like it should have already been out, a while ago. So now they're actually gearing up to put all of them out like consecutively. You know what you're in store for. You've got the singles. There are some on there that are just gonna fucking flip you right upside down that you probably wouldn't expect it. But we still have like half of a whole ass record for you to find out on.
Yeah, totally.
So we didn't just single it out for that reason. We singled it out for we wanted to have all of them out by now. And then, like he was saying, we didn't know what we were going to do with it in terms of like fully getting it out before COVID or waiting. Because, like he said, he saw people putting it out. He said this would be a good idea. Like there's people in your ear telling you things that are good ideas. That's why this shit was recorded in 2019, and it's 2021 and the record's not even out. So
Right.
Yeah.
we singled it out. We didn't want to single it out like specifically, but
yeah, but like you were working with the information that you had at the time, and I think every band has been in that position where it's like,
right,
they
told us this was a good idea.
Yeah, but like, yeah, some bands have been like, you know, I always use Year of the Knife as an example, like had their debut record come out like in the summer when it was already like supposed to be around the springtime, right when COVID was like first hitting, and then like push back, and then they were like, okay, well, we're you know, we don't have a choice at this point. But you know,
Right.
it's really cool to see the people in those bands. You know, I think the fear is that everyone was like, oh, like these songs are going to be stale. No one's going to give a fuck about them. People are going to be waiting for new stuff. But to see people almost like more excited because they've been chewing on that music for so long is super, super cool. And just like, right when shows first started kind of coming back, like, you know, as someone that curates a lot of the new music that's coming out for our listen up playlist, like October, like I have yet to put that out because it's like almost overwhelming the amount of new music that I've had. Like I think the max point that I hit was like 50 songs, and October's at like over 70. So it's just like so many bands are like, you know, trying to get out there and do do those things, but you know, it's kind of picking your poison kind of at the end of the day.
Yeah, for real. I'm really the first one to bitch about that when it comes to like putting out a song and then someone that like I really like admired their opinion about it. Hey man, I really like that song. It really turned out cool. Like I really enjoyed listening to it. I hope to hear some more like that. It's fucking sick, just to let you know. And I'm like, I'm fucking tired. You know what I mean? I'm fucking tired of it. We, you know, the same old song and dance, but like you said, like those people have been chewing on some new music currently. Like everyone's just always looking for new. Some people.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to that, like just fucking you put it out, let them like you're not gonna know how it goes until more people actually let you know about the song. So it's just like
totally.
let them actually tell your opinion. It's valid, absolutely. Don't just complain about it because it's stale to you because you're tired of it. You know what I mean? Just like
so
it never works out. Like
so based off of that, like you said, a lot of the songs were kind of written and recorded in 2019. Were you making tweaks when like you put out Misery Road and then people were like, oh, this is super sick, and then it's like, oh, should we tweak the other songs maybe in the production a little ways? I'm not sure if you guys, or if it was like, this isn't a time capsule and we're just waiting for the right opportunity to put it out.
Jayson?
No, it was pretty much track November 2019, same time. Yeah, and we just finished it there. I guess we did do some stuff here, but yeah, we pretty much finished it then. It was ready to go. Just started releasing.
Yeah.
We did rewrite some songs in the studio though. Like we went with some completely like ready to go, and then by the time we ended up leaving, it was like completely different and like in like the best way possible. So it's like not for the sake of anybody receiving it any certain way. It was just us like really creating it as we were laying it down at the same time with some of them for sure.
Yeah,
but no changing it like to fit a certain thing. That's what the next record's for. You know what I mean? Like
totally. Yeah.
You'll always do that later.
Do you guys have a favorite song like per member as far as like standout ones that you are either really sick or you're like, I'm really glad that we experimented this much on this track? I'm curious where your guys' thoughts are.
And same along with that, I'm the first one to like be like, I fucking hate playing this song. Let's play something else. A lot of my absolute least favorite ones are probably someone would tell you like, that's my favorite song, dude. I don't know. Mine particularly one that I enjoy playing live. It's got a mixture of a lot of different.
Which one?
I don't know. I really like Brazen Bull because it's like it's got the catchiness, it's got the speed, it's got the heaviness. Fucking throw it in a box and throw it at somebody. You know what I mean? Like it's all there. You know what I mean? Like that's it, in that kind of style for sure. Like fucking rock blocks and stuff like that. I really like playing Ain't Good For Me. We like to play that one live. This is one we've always done well, I would say. There's I don't know. What do you think, Jayson?
I mean, I don't know. I like all the songs. I like Neurotic a lot. We've never played it live yet. Yeah, I like Misery. I like them all. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's right.
I love all my song kids. They're all welcome here. Yeah. I love that. Based off of that, because I think I've had a lot of different Texas guests here on the show. Andrew from IM's come on here, River from Ballista. I've had a surplus, and a common theme that always comes up is like the sound of Texas. Texas is a very like crossover kind of metal kind of state. So I'm kind of curious on where your guys is being from Texas. Where your guys' thoughts are on that. Is that bang on? Is that off basis? Is there some truth to that, but not all of it? Where's your mind go?
It's a little some on, and it's a little bit of bang on too.
Sure. Okay.
It's a little okay. So like, I'll fucking spare you the Pantera shit. Like everybody from Texas, every single Texas musician is gonna be like, we're from Texas. We're from Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, that's one that doesn't have to be said. Like, if you're not a fan, whatever. Better worth not knowing them anyways. But as far as being from the state, absolutely. Like, we love being from Texas. We're all spread out, really. Like, we got a dude in Tennessee right now. We got our bass player lives in Durant, Oklahoma, but he's an honorary Texan. He's about an hour. He's about an hour away from Dallas. Jayson wasn't born here, but we were raised here and shit. I was born in Fort Worth. Like, Texas is what we know. Texas is how we live. It's not really like fucking spare me the cheesy shit though. Like, I hate when people are like, you got to do it like this if you're from, and they're like not even from Texas. I'm like, sit down, dude. That's not how we should do it. Don't tell us what we should do. Let's just do it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the Texas stuff, like musician wise, we're very, very, very fortunate to be from a place like this. Like all of my absolute heroes were, Texans, native Texans, Jayson probably wouldn't say the same just because of his music choices aren't particularly the same as mine. But we all really enjoy it here. As much like keep politics and all that shit the fuck out. We all enjoy the state.
Right.
State of Texas.
Jayson, what are your thoughts as far as like, is Texas as a state just one sound, or is there more to that?
Oh no, I think there's more to it, but I've never really thought about all the like interesting bands that come from Texas, or just like like I don't know. They all sound like different. You know what I mean?
It depends on where you're at.
Right.
Yeah. You'll get some like
San Antonio is really thrashy. Like there's parts. I don't know. You go out towards like Tyler, Texas, like out there, those motherfuckers like deathcore and shit like that. Like it's like huge there too. Like they fucking ride for it hard. Like it really depends on where you're at.
Totally. Yeah, and it doesn't mean that like, oh, you can only play within this space. Like you think of a band like Judiciary, and they definitely lean more in that like hardcore world, but they still have some like thrashy elements for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like, oh, you can only play this sound if you're from Texas. Do
what you want to.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about it.
100%. So the new record is called Southern Misery. I'm kind of curious on how you came up with that name, because Texas doesn't seem like a miserable place to live. So I'm like, is that another southern
It's-
state that spawned that name, or if it's something else?
It's not particularly Texas. I would say it's more like just the South. Like, I wouldn't say like Oklahoma, Alabama, Louisiana. You know what I mean? Like, I would say particularly that's what we know. We've all ventured out of, the country, out of the state. Like, we've all gone as fucking far out as we can. But what we know is Texas. What we're accustomed to is what goes on here. That's what we're used to every single day. So really, the name of it would just encompass just the way that we see stuff. It not particularly like a way that someone should see us, but the way that we see things in our normal day. Whether it be a song about something historically correct or something that's more like you can see it through the eyes of the person talking about it, or something that's like completely made up. You know what I mean? It's just like, those are still feelings and moods that we bring in from the attitudes that we get from the stuff that we're used to every single day. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's like specifically Texas, because Texas isn't miserable. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's fucking sick.
Yeah. I thought it was, I think it was just funny. I'm like, what is the most miserable like state? As someone being from Canada, like I'm okay to kind of point and choose and be like, oh, sorry, I'm up here.
You can.
We have our own problems
for sure. Yeah. You can point and choose.
You don't want to go on record and call out a state for being the most sad place on earth.
No, fuck no. Everyone's quiet right now. There's like, right.
Like, no. I think, like I was just in Tulsa, Oklahoma for Promcore, and as sick as that festival was, it was definitely like, I don't think that I need to be here for longer than a weekend with peace and love. Like, there was some cool things to see, but it wasn't like, oh, I feel like I just scratched the surface. It was like, no. I've been here. I've seen the downtown and the main music venue, and I'm out. And that was it.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. On to the next.
On to the next. That's right. So Grayson, anyone that's seen Frost Coffin before has probably seen you rocking with a cowboy hat. I see that kind of perched in the back behind you there.
I've got one back there. That's not even the one that I would like normally wear.
Oh, okay.
On like a normal day. Yeah, it doesn't. I think about it all the time. It doesn't really make sense to just like dress like I'm not gonna fucking sweat my ass off on stage. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna fucking be drenched either way. You know what I mean? People will come up to be like, "What are you wearing tonight, man? You wearing a cowboy hat? You wearing a trucker hat?" I'm like, dude, what the fuck does it matter? It's a hat. You know what I mean? Like, let's just play some songs. If you like it, cool. If not, whatever. Like, I get why people ask, because it's a little bit out of context. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're all just fucking doing what we want to. You know what I mean?
I think it's.
But I do think it's funny.
I do think it's interesting
when
to
they
have.
Expect it.
Oh yeah, but I do think that it is cool to interrupt the status quo of like, you would normally see anyone who's like doing anything country related wearing a cowboy hat, and then it's like one of the hardest bands, and you're like rocking the same kind of getup, and I think that's really cool to kind of showcase like you can literally do whatever you want in this hardcore space.
And do what you want to. Do what you want to do, man. It really does catch people off guard. The most reoccurring thing is people being like, well, one is if I don't feel like I'm supposed to be in a venue, or like I don't have like a pass or something that tells me where I'm supposed to be, people do not treat me like I'm supposed to be there. Definitely no fucking way.
They're like, are you lost? The rodeo is down the road.
Are you? And I'm like looking through the venues because I like, I just like explore the buildings and shit like that. They're like, what are you doing back here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
They think you like time traveled and you're in like the wrong century. And
they're like, can I help you? I'm like, no, I'm just chilling. You know?
Yeah.
Well, can I help you?
Yeah.
But no, people will be like, I thought you were like setting up drinks on the stage, or I don't know, a tech, or something like that. And then
I
you
thought
grab
you
the
were
microphone.
you're doing a bull wrestling in between bands. You're like, no, I play in one of these bands.
I'm like, wait till after the set,
Yeah.
and then it gets wild.
So it's interesting being from Alberta because up here we have what's called the Stampede, which is essentially like
I know, bro.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
Stampede is legendary, bro.
Yeah.
The Stampede is legendary.
honestly, living here, it's just like a big old party, and I think it was a little weird, especially with COVID, because it was like our premiere was like wanted open for the summer, which is essentially like we're gonna have the Stampede this year, and now it's like COVID cases are crazy, so it's just like it was just a wild thing. So it's like open for the summer, closed for the rest of the year,
But not really. Yeah, I know, that's such a bummer.
Yeah, but cowboy hats are often worn here, even when it's not Stampede season. So I have to ask, what goes into it? For someone like myself who doesn't own a cowboy hat, and I would like to, what are the things that I should consider or look into when I'm purchasing my first cowboy hat?
I would just say it depends on how you want to wear it. If you're gonna be out in the rain, you're gonna want something that's got more quality to it. If you're just gonna wear one to hang out and fucking go to the bar and shoot pool and drink Bud Light, you know what I mean? Like, you can just get a wool hat, you know what I mean? But if you want something that's gonna hold up, you're gonna get something that's more heavily blended with like a fur more than a wool. So if you want something that'll hold up, you'll definitely get something like that. But really, the first things first is put it on your head and see if you like it. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's very true.
I'll fucking slap that shit on people all the time. There you go.
Jayson,
you know what I mean? Put it on your head if you like it. Cool. If not, try a different shape.
Right.
Shape it yourself. Do something new. You know what I mean?
Do you got a favorite shape of cowboy hat? I'm not sure what that
this one's
entails.
pretty cool.
Oh,
this one,
okay.
Yeah, I shaped this one by hand.
Damn.
And then I've got like.
Jayson, do you have a cowboy hat?
No, I do not, man.
You have too many guitars for cowboy hats.
Yeah. I'm not the guitar dude. He's the hat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like straw. This is for summertime.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels very summer vibes.
My 10-gallon. Yeah. And then this is a wool hat. This would be something for like, you just want something to wear nice. This is the first hat I ever bought myself, like the first new to me hat.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in a couple of your videos. I'm not sure if you wore that one for Snow.
I've never worn this one live. I don't think so, but I've got a brown Stetson somewhere. That's my like normal everyday hat. That is fucking pitiful, bro. It's disgusting. It's the brim is split like an inch all the way around. Like it's misshapen. It's turned up in the back. It's got a sweat ring this big. But, the hat band on the inside is all cracked from wearing it, just sweating in it, and you know what I mean. It's gross. It's gross.
Got you. So,
but that's the beater.
So, if you guys are playing a show and you see someone else who's rocking a cowboy hat, is it one of those like?
No,
it's no. You're like,
no,
we don't talk to one another.
Fuck no, bro. No, I'm just like, hope they stay over there and I stay over here.
It's like I'm supposed to be the only motherfucker in the room wearing a cowboy hat.
It's not even that. It's just like, it really depends on what the shape of the hat looks like too. If I can see it poking above a crowd and it's some fucking goofy shit or some cookie cutter shit, I'm not gonna come talk to you, bro.
Oh, okay.
Look like you just walked out of Boot Barn. Walk back in.
You're not gonna fuck with a Dimsdale Dimmadome, like just go into the sky.
Fucking Doug Dimmadome, home of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. wearing a 100-gallon hat on top of his head.
Yeah,
this shit's funny, man.
Do you? Yeah, I've only seen bands from Texas rock cowboy hats. I can't say that I've seen a band not from Texas wearing a cowboy hat at a hardcore show. I feel like
be the first. Who knows? It's just either way. At the end of the day, it's a fucking hat.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So, new record is coming down the pipe. What are you hoping maybe we can pass this off for both of you guys. What are you guys hoping for this new record as far as like for people to latch on to, whether it's like this, there's some new songs that people have already heard of, but you said that there's some ones that are really going to shock some people potentially. So what are you hoping listeners of the band, whether they're listening to the lyrics or the riffs, are getting from Southern Misery?
The musicians, the guitar players of the world are just gonna fucking love it. You know what I mean? Like if you're a riffer and you want to hear riffs, that's what you're looking for in music. Like Jayson, the first thing he listens to when he hears a song, he listens to the guitar. You know what I mean? Me, I listen to a little bit of guitar and singing kind of at the same time. You know what I mean? Like people, it really depends on what they want to do and how they really connect with it. Like
Totally.
a guitar player is gonna love it. The drummer's gonna love the drummer aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like cohesively, musically, everyone's gonna love it if they just like guitar music. What really is a deal breaker is if you like the way I fucking sing into a microphone. You know what I mean? Like that's really the deal breaker. But at the end of the day, if you listen to it and you like it, or if you're unsure about it, just come see us live. I really want people to just be there either way. Like, come find out for yourself. Stand in front of me and then tell me that we fucking rocked or fucking sucked. You know what I mean? Just let me know. Come see us. That way we know how to do it next time better.
Totally. What would you say, Jayson?
I don't know, man. Because I feel like the next time we write, it's gonna be different. You know what I mean? I don't know. I want to bring a different album or whatever to the table every time. Not the same album every time type thing.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's great.
Yeah,
great album.
Yeah, I'm very excited to listen to it.
Go listen to it. It's a great album.
Yeah, and it's out on November 19th. Is that correct?
It'll be out on the 19th.
Okay, yeah. So this episode will be dropping just a couple weeks prior, but yeah, I'm very, very stoked to be able to listen to the whole thing. So guys, this has been a really, really fun chat. We got one more segment before we wrap it up officially, and it's always exciting when I have multiple guests on the show because I get a double whammy, multiple stories. So the last portion of all our podcasts is a favorite. Excuse me, just burping here. A favorite Mosh story that you guys would like to end on. So that is literally whatever is the first thing to your guys' mind. Could have happened to you. You could have done it. Could have been at a Frost Coffin show. Could have been anything else. However you want to go. I'm going to get Jayson to go first, and then we'll end with Grayson.
First? Fuck. Dude. I don't know. Shit. I want to say I was like 17 moshing for Fit for a King.
Okay.
Yeah. And the dude that did the album art for our new cover, he just laid me out.
Oh.
Laid me out.
Oh, man.
Damn.
That's happened to me so many times.
That's
Not
mine.
paying attention, you just get fucking crunched.
So give some more context. So we're at the Fit for the King for a King show.
Yeah.
And you're just moshing, and then it's like blindside, or did you see it coming?
No, I did not see it coming, man. I was laying on the floor and I was like, what the fuck happened? My head was just like going, like throbbing. I don't know.
Fuck.
And just the next day. Cool.
You were seeing stars, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
well, obviously,
Kane,
obviously not personal because he ended up doing his album artwork a few years later.
No. Yeah, it wasn't personal. Yeah.
he's like my childhood best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it happens. You're seeing stars for a minute. It happens.
Yeah. What about you, Grayson? What's your Mosh story? I hope it's another
Mosh story.
Texas band that this is happening. I always forget that
Mosh
Fit for a King
story-
is from Texas.
No, some of those no. I don't want to talk. No, I don't want to talk about any fight stories. Those are fucking stupid. Fucking spare me. I don't know. I guess the last one. I mean, Jayson got drunk as a fucking skunk when we played with Leeway in Philadelphia, and he had to show Eddie his moves. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
We were on that tour with I Am, and I lost on odds, which is the absolutely worst fucking game to play with a band like that.
Right.
And I lost on odds, and my what I had to do was I had to mosh during I Am. It didn't matter what time, what song, whatever. And I like waited till the last like 45 seconds, and I was like, maybe they just won't see me, and I'll just like walk out. And then like Tom look at me, and they play here. I'll fucking sprinkle this Pantera one in real quick, and then we'll be done with it. They play, you know, the only fucking heaviest breakdown in the world, you know, Domination, known to fucking man. And I absolutely just took the building down by the fucking support beams, and everyone left in a body bag. But you know, you chalk it up to losing odds. You know what I mean?
Right. It all boils down to that. Both great stories. Both great mosh stories. So yeah, Southern Mystery out November 19th. Highly recommend everyone to check out Frost Coffin if you haven't. It's definitely one of those bands that I can always appreciate, bands who are doing things very uniquely and in their own lane versus trying to like do like the seventh version of some band that's been already established and doing its own thing. I feel like you guys are kind of super unique, and I think bands in that space need to work 10 times as hard, but anything I can do to help amplify you guys, more than happy to do.
Yeah, man.
All your is links and socials and all that shit will be in the description of the video and in the show notes. But if either of you guys want to end on anything, the floor is yours.
Hey man, we do really appreciate this. You know, what I want to end this with is, if you guys have nothing to do, man, if you got something to do, cancel it. Come fucking see us play. If you like it, badass. If not, even cooler. You know what I mean?
I love that. If you got something to do, cancel it.
Cancel it, bro.
Yeah, straight up. Well, awesome. Thank you guys again for coming on the Scope Exposure podcast. I hope that we can do it again real soon.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
bro. We
thank you,
appreciate you so
Spencer.
much.